genetics, nanotechnology, and chemical accidents. All this and more have turned today's characters into the hardest to kill in the DC universe. Not gods, planetary destruction, or even time itself can take them out for good. And today, you'll meet all of them in this video. 1. Lobo. Lobo is a Zarnian, one of the oldest and most powerful races in the universe while they existed, and they possessed a potent healing factor. The beings from his planet were practically immortal. Truly dying was optional. However, Lobo created a virus that killed everyone of his race, making him the last of his kind. I would even say Lobo's healing factor is the strongest in all of DC, and that's saying a lot. The character can fight using only his bones, talk with just his head, and regenerate completely from his own blood. Another crucial factor that makes Lobo nearly impossible to eliminate is that death cannot claim his soul. In fact, no deity can or even wants to, since when Lobo went to hell, he caused utter chaos until they sent him to heaven. In paradise, he did the exact same thing and even fought with the gods living there, forcing them to sign an agreement to never claim his soul. So, if by some miracle someone manages to kill him, his soul will return in another body or find its way back. Dead, he will not stay. But it's still an incredibly difficult task, as he has regenerated from pools of blood, just his bones, body parts, and so on. This guy literally doesn't die. 2. Superman. Superman is one of the many members of the Justice League who possess a healing factor, nowhere near what Lobo has. But he can still recover from moderate injuries within moments. However, that's not exactly why Superman makes this list. It's because of his immense durability, far surpassing that of most Kryptonians. Superman is one of the few beings in the universe capable of trading blows with Darkseid's avatars and withstanding his Omega beams. He held a black hole with his bare hands, though it caused him immense strain. Even so, he managed to hold an object so dense that not even light could escape it. He was the only Justice League member and the only hero on Earth able to withstand a fight against Doomsday, who had effortlessly knocked out all the other heroes. This is the same Doomsday who later beat Darkseid, further proving the insane resilience of the last son of Krypton. I could spend all day listing Superman's feats of durability, but as one of DC's fundamental pillars, it's clear that, in the end, good always prevails, and he'll be there to ensure it no matter what he has to endure. 3. Resurrection Man. Mitch Shelley is a character on a quest to discover who he truly is, as he lost all his memories. Apparently, he was an ordinary lawyer who became the subject of experimental nanotechnology capable of reconstructing damaged cells. This granted him the powers behind his name, the ability to resurrect. But not just that. He returns with a unique ability related to the cause of his death. For instance, if he dies by electrocution, he comes back with the power to control electricity. If he dies by fire, he gains control over flames, and so on. These powers are usually defensive, preventing him from dying again by the same cause. In an alternate future, he even wields a device that lets him die for 1 second, just enough to return and choose the power he wants upon resurrection. Resurrection Man is a character who, in the hands of the right writer, could be insanely powerful, but he has never received much prominence in the comics. 4. Raz Al Gul. Raz Al Gul is one of the most politically powerful men in the world, the grandfather of Robin Damian Wayne, and the leader of the League of Shadows. He carries with him 700 years of life. But it's not any beauty product that keeps him looking like he's in his 50s. It's something far darker and mystical. He discovered the existence of the Lazarus Pit, a place with green waters imbued with magical properties of longevity, rejuvenation, and restoration. If someone dies and is immersed in the pit, all their wounds will be healed, and they will be brought back to life. However, this sometimes comes with side effects, such as personality changes, and in theory, it doesn't work for those who have been dead for a long time. Yet, Raz Al Gul seems immune to these effects, using the pit to stay younger than he appears, and to revive himself whenever he dies in battle. 5. The Flash. This applies to most speedsters, as their connection to the Speed Force makes them practically immortal. When a speedster dies, they merge with the Speed Force and can return to life, though they usually need someone to open a path for them. This was the case with Jay Garrick, who disappeared during the New 52 era and could only return after the complications with Dr. Manhattan and Barry entering the time stream. Barry himself remained dead for decades, but occasionally appeared in the comics when someone reopened the path to the Speed Force. However, one speedster who doesn't need to merge with the Speed Force to come back is Eobard Thawne, thanks to the negative Speed Force. As a living paradox, every time Thawne dies, he returns to life shortly after. The only known way to kill him is for another speedster to absorb all the Speed Force, severing his connection to the time stream and allowing him to die. But this is extremely risky. Barry only did it twice, and one of those instances accidentally caused Flashpoint. 6. Vandal Savage. Vandal Savage proudly claims the title of humanity's first immortal, dating back to a time before Homo sapiens even ruled the planet. He was a caveman born roughly 50,000 years ago who encountered a mysterious meteorite. Bathed in its radiation, he was transformed, becoming far more intelligent than other cavemen and completely immortal. It was later revealed that he was actually infused with alien nanotechnology, the same that gave Resurrection Man his powers. Since then, he has traveled through time, assuming the identities of historically famous figures, such as a Sumerian king, an Egyptian pharaoh, and a counselor to Napoleon, among others. He revealed himself to Wally West's Flash, and has since become a recurring enemy of the Justice League. Vandal believes that only he, with his vast experience, is fit to rule humanity and guide it to a higher level, though the Justice League always stands in his way. 7. Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing is one of the most powerful beings on Earth, though he often doesn't receive the recognition he deserves. Thanks to his connection to the green, the elemental force that governs all plant life, he is virtually immortal. I say virtually because he can technically die, but it's so difficult that he might as well be considered immortal. His regenerative abilities are extraordinary. As a plant, he can regrow any part of himself or replace damaged parts with vegetation from his surroundings. If that's not enough, he can transfer his consciousness to any plant in the multiverse. He has done this to cross realities during Crisis on Infinite Earths, and even traveled through time the same way. Remarkably, Swamp Thing can connect with anything derived from plants, like pencils or sheets of paper. So, how do you kill someone who can recreate his mind anywhere, at any time? Simply put, you can't. 8. Plastic Man. Plastic Man is another underappreciated hero, often overlooked due to the comedic tone of his stories. Surprisingly, he defies comic book norms as one of the few characters who has never experienced death. Apparently, he's as hard to get rid of as real plastic. What's even more amazing is that regeneration isn't his main power, nor the primary reason he's on this list. Like Superman mentioned earlier, he is absurdly durable, with some comics stating he is completely invulnerable, even to heat vision. That said, he does possess regenerative abilities, though they are somewhat limited. His tissues must be in decent condition to reassemble. In one instance, his molecules were scattered across the ocean, and he could only return once 80% of his mass was recovered. He has survived having his heart ripped out and is immortal to time, having been seen alive 3,000 years in the future.